So welcome back everybody for another Force Tech Talk. Today we have John Anslow with us, who's the Chief Executive Officer of the Institute of Obsolescence Management. So we wanted to sort of pick your brains on sort of how you've seen obsolescence over the years, and I think a good place to start would be sort of how long you've been in the obsolescence industry and what you've sort of seen over that time.
Well, when we were chatting yesterday, I did say to you, I think my first obsolescence management case was in 1991.
Blimey, it's going back.
It's a while, but actually occurred to me overnight. It actually started the day I started with the RAF when I was 16. My very first posting, I had to fix an IF strip in a radar. They were valves.
Yeah.
And of course, in 1975, that they were really obsolete in 1975, and I was still having to keep the equipment going, and you had to sort of sort them out and get it going. So I guess I've been involved since then, one way or another.
Yeah.
But obsolescence management as a separate discipline from keeping things running, I think 1991 was really at the start.
Yeah, it's a very, very long career. I mean, I've been sort of doing obsolescence for the past 18 or 19 years or so, and it's there's so much knowledge there from people who've been there much longer than myself. So what?
Yeah, I think we've kind of I'm really pleased. It's been quite a journey, I can assure you, and there've been a lot of people have done a lot of work over the years since the 90s. To get where we are today. And I can see the difference between then and now is that now it's taken seriously as a discipline.
Yeah.
Where previously it was just something you did day to day if you happened to be in the support field.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it's it's just a constantly changing field, and as technology, evolves and gets smaller and faster, and it's just
the radar I was doing in 1975 was like half a dustbin, and all that did was give the range to the target. Now you've probably got the equivalent in the rear bumper of your car for parking.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's crazy.
That's just amazing, absolutely amazing.
So I mean, sort of over the years that you've been in obsolescence, what's the sort of the biggest issues that you've seen with, I certainly find some of the companies that we work with, they're very large, very unwieldy in their processing. Obviously, everything has to be correct, but it does move slowly. How about yourself?
I think actually it used to be, it's going away, but senior management being aware that obsolescence management really could hurt them, and the company, if it got out of hand, knows now than it used to be. And I think if a company has a policy in process, they've thought about it, it's in place, they understand that there are specialist engineers to deal with obsolescence who will make these things go away, essentially, for a price, of course, but and it's trying to get it to the wider engineering community that obsolescence management is not just an engineering discipline. It's also about contracts and other supply chain issues and things like that, and quite what a varied career it is, and how exciting. Well, I find it exciting.
Yeah.
I find it really exciting. And I think because we're at the start of this sort of discipline, really, companies like yours are not as well known as they should be, and I think the ability of the smaller companies to actually fix problems, I think is shrouded in the nest. Maybe we need to say it, that that you can fix. If you've got enough money, you can fix almost anything.
Yeah, and obviously
that doesn't necessarily mean that you should fix everything. It may be a better option just to do redesigns, which are the most expensive option, rather than just buy some parts or get some special parts made up by force or whatever.
Yeah.
To fix the issue right now.
No, definitely.
Because of course we have to think in 40, 50-year timeframes for the military, 25, 30 years for a train set. So you have to think in that time. Of course, how you think varies over that time. Right at the beginning, you'll buy stuff and lots of spare. More you go on, you want to plan that you're going to update it and upgrade and change issues in a rounded manner. And then as it's going towards going out of business, you just want to get enough stuff to get it to that date.
Yeah, definitely. And the sort of Institute of Obsolescence Management's definitely on the forefront of getting that out to a wider audience, that this is important and it really needs to be, thought about.
Yes, I mean, sustainability is the latest catchphrase. Personally, I've always, I think my wife calls me tight with the money, but I always want full value for money out of my cars and my cattle and everything else, and so does the government at the end of the day, because they're spending our money. So I think sustainability is a good place to start, and obsolescence is right at the heart of that.
Yeah,
because it's about thinking about it, not necessarily taking action, but actually thinking and planning over the long term rather than reacting in the short term.
Yeah, and I mean, even with the sort of more modern things like smartphones, etc., there's a lot of pushback from the OEMs of trying to sort of block people's ability to repair and keep things sustainable. And there's big strides there going forwards to resolve that with the right to repair movements, etc.
Yeah, I think I don't quite think they understand the market as much as they should. I mean, I've spent a lot of my career convincing senior management that really obsolescence management was going to save them money, and it was going to make the customer think that they were concerned about the customer's concerns. And I have actually personally had to stare into the eyes of generals and say, look, I will make sure your kit is still usable in 20 years' time.
Yeah.
And they understood what that meant. And, I wouldn't want to be in charge of a company, I've got to say.
It's tough. And, these projects
that's a lot of stress, but you have to try and bring it up and say, the customer really, we're trying to make the customer feel comfortable and that they're not alone, and that we will not abandon them during these problems, and we'll fix it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And that's marketing advantage as much as it is anything else, which of course is why obsolescence management is so many different skills.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's very hard to do, especially with the undefined, how long's a project going to run? Often these things, end up running far longer than they were originally designed to. So it's just a nightmare all round. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well,
yes, I have had projects that with parts that are obsolete, and they're a brand new piece of equipment, but the development cycle is so long, it's not possible to avoid that.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's no, I mean, I really appreciate you coming on the call today and taking time out to do this with us. And
always good to talk to you, Ben.
Yeah, and you. All right, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.